The skies over the Middle East have once again turned into a battlefield. The conflict that erupted on June 13, 2025, after Israel launched its Operation Rising Lion against Iran, has escalated dramatically. This latest round of violence saw Israel targeting what it described as Iranian nuclear and military infrastructure, leading to significant casualties on the ground in Iran. In response, Iran has unleashed a massive barrage of its own, launching over 400 ballistic missiles and hundreds of drones toward Israeli cities. This exchange marks one of the most direct and intense confrontations between the two regional powers, moving their long-standing shadow war into the open with devastating consequences for civilians on both sides. Amidst the chaos of sirens and explosions, a new weapon has made its presence known with terrifying effect: the Fattah-1 hypersonic missile. On June 18th, Iran announced it had fired these advanced projectiles at targets in Israel, marking a significant moment in modern warfare. The name Fattah, which translates to the opener, was reportedly chosen by Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and its use is intended to send a clear message. It signals that Iran possesses a capability designed to overcome even the most sophisticated defensive shields, altering the strategic calculations that have governed the region for decades. The missile's deployment is a bold statement of technological achievement and military intent. The immediate trigger for the current conflict was Israel's series of airstrikes, which Tel Aviv claims killed senior Iranian military commanders, including Ali Shadmani. These strikes were aimed at crippling Iran's military and nuclear ambitions. However, Iran's retaliation has been swift and powerful, demonstrating a resolve to strike back directly. The use of the Fattah-1 is the centerpiece of this retaliation. It is a calculated move designed not just to inflict damage, but to showcase a weapon that Iran believes can guarantee its ability to penetrate Israeli defenses, thereby establishing a new and dangerous form of deterrence in this volatile and long-running conflict. For the people living in Tel Aviv and other Israeli cities, the recent attacks have brought the war home in a way not seen before. While Israel's multi-layered air defense system has intercepted many of the incoming rockets and drones, Iranian state media claims that the Fattah-1 missiles have successfully breached these defenses. Independent verification of these specific claims remains difficult, but the psychological impact is undeniable. The mere possibility that a weapon exists which can bypass Israel's famed Iron Dome and Arrow systems has introduced a new level of fear and uncertainty, fundamentally changing the sense of security for ordinary citizens. The Fattah-1 is not just another missile. It represents a generational leap in military technology for Iran. It is a medium-range ballistic missile that falls into the category of hypersonic weapons. This means it can travel at speeds exceeding Mach 5 or 5 times the speed of sound. To put that into perspective, it can cover vast distances in mere minutes, leaving very little time for any defensive system to react. Unveiled officially in June 2023, after years of development by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Fattah-1 is a product of Iran's domestic arms industry, showcasing its growing sophistication in a field dominated by global superpowers like Russia, China, and the United States. What truly sets the Fattah-1 apart from conventional ballistic missiles is not just its incredible speed, but its maneuverability. Traditional ballistic missiles follow a predictable, high-arcing trajectory, much like a stone thrown into the air. This predictable path makes them easier for defense systems to track and intercept. The Fattah-1, however, is different. It is equipped with a movable nozzle on its engine that allows it to change its flight path both inside and outside the Earth's atmosphere. This ability to make sharp, unpredictable turns during its final approach to a target makes it an exceptionally difficult adversary for any current air defense system. The missile itself is a formidable piece of engineering. It measures approximately 12 meters in length and runs on solid fuel, which allows it to be launched more quickly and with less preparation time than liquid-fueled missiles. It has a stated range of up to 1,400 kilometers, putting all of Israel and other key locations in the region well within its reach from Iranian launch sites. While its payload of 200 kilograms of explosives is smaller than some of Iran's heavier missiles, its value lies not in brute force, but in its precision, and its near-guaranteed ability to reach its target through heavily defended airspace, making it a strategic, high-value weapon. The development of the Fattah-1 is a clear indicator of Iran's strategic thinking. Aware of Israel's formidable air defenses, which have been developed over decades with significant US support, Iran has focused on creating asymmetric capabilities. It aims to build weapons that can bypass an opponent's strengths. By developing a hypersonic missile that can maneuver in flight, Iran is attempting to render Israel's expensive and complex defensive shield obsolete. The Fattah-1 is the embodiment of this strategy, a weapon designed not for a fair fight, but to circumvent the fight altogether by being too fast and too agile to be caught. The introduction of the Fattah-1 onto the battlefield poses a monumental challenge for even the most advanced air defense systems in the world, including Israel's. Israel's defense is built on a multi-layered architecture, with systems like the Iron Dome for short-range rockets, David's Sling for medium-range threats, and the Arrow system for long-range ballistic missiles. The Arrow system, particularly the Arrow 3, was specifically designed to intercept ballistic missiles high in the atmosphere. However, these systems were primarily developed to counter threats that follow a predictable flight path, which is precisely what the Fattah-1 is engineered to avoid. The core problem for defenders is twofold: speed and unpredictability. The extreme velocity of a hypersonic missile drastically reduces the warning time. From the moment of launch to impact, defenders have only a few minutes to detect, track, and attempt an interception. This compressed timeline puts immense pressure on sensor networks, command and control systems, and the interceptor missiles themselves. When you combine this speed with the Fattah-1's ability to maneuver, the task becomes nearly impossible. A defensive system cannot reliably calculate an intercept point for a target that is constantly changing its direction at high speed. It is like trying to shoot a bullet with another bullet that has to predict where the first one will swerve. The recent conflict has reportedly exposed vulnerabilities in Israel's defenses. The sheer volume of the Iranian assault, involving hundreds of drones and missiles launched simultaneously, is designed to overwhelm the system. This is a classic saturation tactic. In this chaotic environment, a weapon like the Fattah-1 can exploit the gaps. While Israel's defenses are busy dealing with swarms of slower drones and conventional missiles, the hypersonic missile can punch through. Reports have emerged suggesting that Israel is running low on its expensive Arrow interceptor missiles, a concern US officials have reportedly noted for months, making each incoming threat even more dangerous. This new reality has forced a strategic rethink in Israel and among its allies, particularly the United States. The US has deployed additional military assets to the region to bolster defenses, but countering hypersonic weapons is a challenge that even the Pentagon is still grappling with. Developing effective defenses will require a new generation of sensors, likely space-based, to provide earlier warnings, and new types of interceptors that are faster and more agile. Until such systems are developed and deployed, which could take years, the balance of power has shifted. The Fattah-1 has given Iran a powerful tool that for now has no reliable countermeasure. The use of the Fattah-1 missile in the June 2025 conflict is more than just a tactical event. It is a strategic turning point for the Middle East. For years, the military dynamic between Iran and Israel was defined by Israeli technological superiority and its powerful air force, which gave it the freedom to strike targets across the region with relative impunity. Iran, in turn, relied on its network of proxy forces and its growing arsenal of conventional ballistic missiles as a deterrent. The Fattah-1 disrupts this established order. It provides Iran with a credible, direct strike capability that challenges Israeli air supremacy and defensive invulnerability. This shift has profound implications for regional stability. The existence of a weapon that can reliably penetrate Israel's defenses may make both sides more cautious, but it could also make future conflicts far more destructive if they do occur. Israel may feel compelled to carry out preemptive strikes to destroy these missile capabilities before they can be used, raising the risk of escalating a crisis into a full-blown war. For its part, Iran may feel emboldened by its new weapon, potentially leading it to act more aggressively in the region, confident that it can deter or withstand an Israeli response. This creates a more volatile and unpredictable security environment for everyone. The arrival of hypersonic weapons on the Middle Eastern stage is also likely to trigger a new and more dangerous arms race. Israel and its allies will undoubtedly accelerate their research and development into hypersonic defense systems. This will involve massive investment in new technologies, from advanced satellite tracking to directed energy weapons. Neighboring countries, watching this escalation, may also seek to acquire similar offensive or defensive capabilities to avoid being left vulnerable. The result could be a region bristling with highly advanced, ultra-fast weapons, where the time to make decisions in a crisis is reduced to minutes, increasing the risk of catastrophic miscalculation. Ultimately, the Fattah-1 has demonstrated that the nature of warfare is changing. The age of defensive dominance, anchored by sophisticated anti-missile shields, is being challenged by a new era of offensive supremacy driven by hypersonic speed and maneuverability. This is not just a regional issue, it reflects a global trend, with major powers all racing to develop their own hypersonic arsenals. The conflict between Iran and Israel in June 2025 will be studied by military planners worldwide as the first real-world test of these next-generation weapons. It serves as a stark warning that the technological battlefield is evolving faster than diplomacy can keep up, pushing old rivalries into uncharted and far more dangerous territory.